Yeah, good morning, Freddie. And good morning, Cedar. Maple was here a second ago, too. All the cats are just ready for loving this morning, I guess. All the cats. Oh, what a good Freddie. Good morning, friends, and welcome to another Wellness Wednesday on the porch. We are finally having some beautiful fall weather. It's not super rainy yet, which is wonderful. It's not super cold yet, which is also wonderful, but we've got like the foggy, crisp mornings and the leaves are starting to change. So I'm still able to be out here on the porch and not freeze to death. But also it feels like cozy and nice. I want to like make soup every day. I want to curl up with a blanket and drink coffee. It's pretty magical. So like usual, I will give you a quick update on how I'm doing with my SIBO protocol, my antimicrobial SIBO killing protocol. And then I had a little bit of a topic I wanted to talk about after that. So I think I'm exactly 1 week away from being done with my 6 weeks of the antimicrobials, which is wonderful. It's a lot of pills, a lot of, trying to remember to take different pills and supplements throughout the day, which is not the most enjoyable thing in my life. But I am very happy that I've been very consistent with it. I've done other supplements and protocols before where it's just I lose steam or I forget to take them. And then it's like, do you just start back up again? Or I don't know. It's just sometimes it can just, if your head's not in it, trying to take all these supplements can be very difficult. But I'm very happy that I have been very consistent with it. And I think part of it is probably because I have my iron in a good place now, so my brain is functioning a little bit better. So I'm actually able to be on top of things and remember to take my supplements. So that is a positive. So far, I have only missed 1 dose of my antimicrobials, and it was just a couple days ago. The next day I was like, did I take my second dose? And I don't think I did. So anyways, very happy with that. Very happy that it will be done in a week. And then I talked to you guys last week about, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, about the frustration with testing because I bought the Air 2 device that I've shown you in a couple of videos, and it tests hydrogen and methane. So I was going to use it to test how I'm doing with killing the SIBO. And then after I got that, I discovered the L. reuteri or possibly L. reuteri. I still don't know exactly how to pronounce it. Yogurt. And like I told you about that is that it messes up the readings from the Air 2 device. Since it colonizes in the small intestine, it can give a false positive on the breath tester device. So basically, to get an accurate reading on the Air 2 device, you have to stop the L. reuteri yogurt for 2 weeks, 10 days to 2 weeks before you can get an accurate breath test. So last week I told you I was trying to decide what to do about that because I felt like the yogurt was really helping me, and to stop it for 2 whole weeks is really frustrating. It's still really frustrating, but I did decide to go ahead and stop the yogurt for the 2 weeks so that I could get a accurate reading as soon as I'm finished with my 6-week protocol. So as of October 1st, I stopped eating the yogurt. And so by the 14th, I finish on the 12th with the supplements. So by the 14th, I should be able to take a breath test and get an accurate reading. So I am doing that, which is frustrating. But I really want to make sure I'm doing this right. And I really want to get a good reading, just because going by symptoms alone can just be difficult to assess your symptoms yourself, and to have a concrete number from the device, it would be really, really helpful. So I am going to do that. But actually, Dr. Davis has lots of yogurt recipes or fermented dairy recipes with different probiotics. And actually, there is a SIBO yogurt that he makes, or a SIBO fighting yogurt that he makes, or has the recipe for it, that actually has 3 different strains of probiotics in it. And one of them is the L. reuteri. And then there's 2 others that he adds. Maybe I'll put some pictures up here on the screen of the 2 other probiotics and the names of the strains, because Lord knows I probably will mispronounce those as well. But what I did was I ordered those other 2 probiotics, and I have been making batches of yogurt or fermented dairy with those two. So I've done them separate. You can do them together. And he does have the SIBO fighting yogurt that has all three all fermented together, but you could also ferment them all separately. So that's what I've done is I fermented those two separately. So I have two different kinds of fermented dairy from those two different probiotics. And I have been eating those because those don't have the same effect on the Air2 device as far as I know. So I'm still getting some benefits from those strains. And then once I do have my breath test, I will go back to the L. reuteri, of course, because I love it. And I really do think it has been helping me a lot. Like it just turned my digestion around 180 degrees, like within 48 hours of starting to eat it. So definitely enough benefit to continue with it as soon as I get my breath test. But until then, I will enjoy these other two yogurts. And it is so interesting how different strains of bacteria give the yogurt different flavor. These two that I'm making, totally different flavor. Both good, both delicious, but just totally different flavor. So anyways, that's been kind of fun. And I'm still getting to enjoy my yogurt and getting some benefit from those. They seem like really solid probiotics and really good benefits, just very different benefits. All these different probiotics and bacteria do different things in the body, and it's really fascinating. So it's one of those things where you can try out different kinds, and depending on your own deficiencies in your own gut, different ones are going to be more or less helpful for you. So it's kind of fun to play with, especially when it's something as delicious as yogurt that I get to enjoy. So that's what I'm doing on the yogurt front. As far as other updates on how I'm doing, I told you last week that with my digestion really turning around and doing so well, I started experimenting with other foods, just kind of like, I'm like in shock, trying to see what I can handle. And so that all was fine. And it found out some interesting things, and that was good. But what I did find was that I started having breakouts of my rosacea, and particularly the rosacea that looks like acne. It's called pustulary rosacea. It's not fun or pleasant as per its name. So even though my digestion specifically was doing better and I wasn't having the digestive symptoms as much from foods, I do know that they still are affecting me in certain ways, and it was coming out through my skin. And so I just kind of had to rein it back in. It was kind of exciting there for a minute, and I was, really wanting to test things out, and that's good. But then I was like, okay, I can't go crazy with all this stuff. I need to rein it in. So I have, and I'm back closer to my ketovore, carnivore-ish type diet, and pulling back all those extras that I was experimenting with. And I'm already feeling better in that respect. My skin is starting to clear up. I can't go too crazy with stuff at this point. I just kind of have to keep it under control. But once I do get back to my sweet spot in my ketovore diet, things seem to be balancing out really well. So that's basically my update with the SIBO protocol and how I'm doing on that. Now, what I wanted to chat a little bit about is just some thoughts I've been having as I've been experiencing the changes I've been experiencing with not only going through the SIBO protocol, but going through the iron deficiency issues and getting that taken care of, going through different nutrient deficiencies and getting those corrected. I've had a lot of changes in my body, and specifically in my appetite, which is what I want to focus on in this video. And it just got me to thinking about how much time and energy and emotion I spent on trying to regulate my appetite just from a self-control mental standpoint. Because of course, that's what we are always told. If you are overweight, it's because you eat too much, and you just have to have self-control to eat less. And I spent so many years just trying to be the good girl when it comes to how I eat. Just do the right thing, like make the right choice. Don't overeat. Hey, Maple's here. And there are whole industries and coaching programs and books and courses and all different things out there that are all designed to help you from a psychological standpoint know how much to eat or how to eat or to make like just the choices around eating. And I definitely think that there is a place for that. And I definitely have gone through like having to deal with emotional eating, and self-control is a very important skill to have when it comes to food, especially in the Western world where we are surrounded by like carnival food all the time, all day, every day. And so I definitely think that there is a place for that. For me in my journey, I have found that it was important for me to go through that and to work on my emotional eating and to learn that self-control. But I feel like it was a smaller part of my journey than I thought it was. I kept feeling like I just need to get better at this. I need to work harder at this, the self-control and such, and that I was deficient in self-control. But as I have experienced the profound effect on my appetite and just my satiety and just my sense of well-being and my absence of cravings when I have addressed my nutrient deficiencies, and, just things like adding in the L. reuteri yogurt very vastly affected my my satiety and my hunger. And like, I was just thinking about it the other day where I don't think I could overeat if I wanted to. Like, it's not just that I don't want to, it's like my body is functioning in such a different way now. It's like I can't even imagine doing it. Now, I know that if I were to start eating a bunch of junk food or eating some junk food, my body, the switches would flip and I would be able to overeat. It's like I would go into a different mode. But in the state that I am right now, with my nutrient stores being in a better place, with my SIBO, getting more under control, I think, and I hope, it's like not even a struggle. It's not that I just have to buckle down and white knuckle it and say, I'm going to have self-control and I'm not going to overeat this junk food that I want to eat so badly. I don't even want it anymore. And that's not something that I experienced just by going keto or carnivore. I will say that going carnivore, I experienced it the most probably. And when I did my carnivore experiment for 3 months, I did 0 sweet taste. So that wasn't a confounding factor. But I will say that it has been a huge piece for me to get those nutrients in line, my nutrient stores in a good place. And then also I think getting the SIBO under control is making a big difference, because when you have the SIBO in your small intestine, you don't absorb things the way you're supposed to. I found out that SIBO can cause fat malabsorption. And I've talked to you guys before about how when I've done like high fat versions of keto before, I can just eat fat and eat tons of fat and like 3,000 calories of fat and not feel satiated. And I wonder now if possibly that's because I wasn't absorbing fat. So it does make sense that I wouldn't be satiated if my body wasn't absorbing what I needed. Also, I didn't have my nutrient stores filled. So my body was, still stimulating hunger and appetite because I obviously needed something else that I didn't have yet. So I just kept getting that hunger signal. So because of all that, I've just been thinking about how much time and energy I spent on the self-control part of it, and feeling bad about myself because a normal person would be able to control themselves around food, or not have one bite of something make you go off the rails and eat the whole pan. And I look at that now and I think, well, yeah, maybe a normal person wouldn't act that way, but a normal person would have no SIBO. A normal person would have their nutrients in the right place. And in that respect, I was not a normal person. But to spend all of my energy on the downstream effects of my issues, the downstream effects being the excessive hunger, the cravings, the inability to feel full, spending all of my energy on trying to control those symptoms, I never really got to the root of my problem. And the root of my problem didn't have anything to do, or very little to do, with self-control. And now that I'm finding that I'm focusing on getting my body healthy, those downstream effects, I don't even have to worry about them anymore, because the thing that was causing them is being addressed at the source. So anyways, I hope this is encouraging to you. I know that it's super daunting when you are in the midst of struggling with cravings and excessive hunger and appetite. It feels very hopeless, and it is very hard to find the root cause. I don't want to try to say that it's easy. And I mean, I've been at this for, I don't know, 20 years now. Literally, I've been on my health journey for 20 years now. And as of a few months ago, I was severely iron deficient. I was deficient in B12. My vitamin D was low, and I had SIBO, and I've probably had it for years. I know that I've had the iron deficiency for years, and SIBO causes iron deficiency. And so it's like, I don't want to say that this is easy, but I would encourage you, if you've been focusing on the intuitive eating, self-control side of it, and it doesn't seem to be clicking, that there could be something else upstream, and it could be something different for everyone. Definitely not saying that what my issues are going to be the same as what everyone else's issues are. Never want to say that. But just as an encouragement, just from my own story, if you have been struggling with even just being able to stay on a diet, if you've been struggling with being able to stay on keto, if your appetite feels out of control, if you feel like you can't kick the cravings, maybe going, stricter will help. That seems to be like the message in the keto community, is if you're struggling with cravings, you need to go stricter. You need to cut out the sweets. You need to cut out the dairy. You need to cut out this, that. I've done that. I did that. I went down that path following that advice. And I definitely think that that works for some people, depending on the issues that they're coming from or coming with. For me, that wasn't the key. I definitely learned a lot through doing that. I always learn something when I do some kind of elimination diet. Always. It's always been helpful. But for me, I had to set aside the idea that I could fix myself through diet alone. I had to just set that aside and look at just different aspects of health. And obviously, I'm not saying that diet isn't important. I think that if I hadn't gotten my diet to the place where I was eating stuff that was lower inflammatory to me, stuff that I handled well, no amount of supplements and different things like that are going to fix it. It has to be synergistically connected. Diet and lifestyle and supplements and nutrient supplementation and stuff like that. So everything is important. I guess my point is that if you've been focusing on just one of those things and not seeing the results that you want, if you've been only focusing on diet or only focusing on lifestyle or only focusing on supplement protocols, it's like maybe step back and take a look at something else. And for me, adding in that supplement protocol piece was very, very important. So that is my encouragement for today. That's my update. I hope you guys are all doing well on this Wellness Wednesday, and I will see you again in the next video.